Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. Here we go again. Every single year, there's a superstar who hits the rumor cycle, and for whatever reason, the Miami Heat always get thrown right in the middle of it. Think about KD in the past, Dame a couple seasons ago, Bradley Beal before he was injured and washed, Donovan Mitchell. Tons of guys have been rumored to come to Miami, and somehow it never happens, and yet we're still in the conversation. And now it's Giannis's turn. That's nothing new. Giannis, has not requested or demanded a trade yet, but a few weeks ago, his agent said that they're going to have a discussion with the front office to discuss whether or not staying in Milwaukee makes sense for his career. It obviously doesn't. The Bucks are screwed. They have no draft capital. They have no players around Giannis. They're injured. Giannis is injured himself as well. They are going to pay Damian Lillard for the next 5 seasons, including this season, after waiving and stretching him for $23 million per season, handicapping their opportunity to build a contender around Giannis. And so the league is basically saying they think Giannis, is going to ask for a trade. And more league insiders this past week have said that Giannis to Miami is potentially an option and a landing spot if things go sideways with the Milwaukee Bucks. And the rumors are starting to get louder. Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. But the question is, should Miami Heat fans get their hopes up? Should we inject that hopium again and get our hopes up like we had specifically most recently with Damian Lillard? Or is just another chapter in the long history of the Miami Heat being in the mix and walking away empty-handed and falling short once again? So let's talk about some of the reports and the possible trade package and why Giannis, is a dream fit. I am a big Giannis guy. I would trade everybody for Giannis. I trade Eric Spoelstra for Giannis. I honestly think he is still a top 3, top 5 NBA player today. He's only 31 years old. He still is almost averaging 30 points per game, double-digit rebounds, 6 assists, a block, a steal. Like, he is one of the most dominant, if not most dominant players in the league right now. And over the last week, there's been major insiders basically dropping Giannis breadcrumbs. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Howard Beck most recently said that Giannis is reportedly liking the Miami Heat as a landing spot if he doesn't end up in New York. So again, the Giannis story, basically suggests that Miami is a destination that he would like to go to if he doesn't land in Miami. And then Sam Amick had said league insiders believe that Giannis might be willing to call Miami his next home, with a potential package of Tyler Herro, Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr. being sent out. He also said the Miami Heat, for example, are often handicapped by league insiders as a place that Antetokounmpo might be willing to call his new home. Pat Riley and the company could offer the Bucks a yacht full of draft assets. I don't know how many assets. We only have 2 picks unless the Terry Rozier trade pick gets rescinded, then that would open up like 4 draft picks. But basically saying they would have to, provide all their young players. Tyler's an all-star, promising young big man Kel'el Ware, small forward Jaime Jaquez Jr., and salary filler like Terry Rozier if the NBA allows it. So this report by Beck and Amick, and then even Jake Fisher is bringing this up, and other insiders, is adding fuel to the fire, saying that Giannis could come to Miami or want to go to Miami if he can't land in New York, which is ultimately the destination apparently he wants to go to. So this isn't just fan fiction. These are not fake reports. These are legit NBA insiders saying that Miami is a place that Giannis has his eyes on. But does that mean it's real? Does that mean it's actually going to happen? Not necessarily. So there's a reason why stars always get linked to the Miami Heat. And one of those reasons why is the culture, the weather. There's no state tax. They have a legendary front office, obviously, with Pat Riley. They've won multiple championships. They have good players like Bam Adebayo. They have winning DNA. They have Eric Spoelstra, which most players and coaches and execs think he's the best coach in the NBA. And if you're Giannis, the guy who cares about elite organizations, work ethic, structure, competing every year, not tanking, Miami checks every box. On the basketball side, ideally, if you can pair him next to Bam Adebayo, that could be one of the most terrifying defensive front courts in the league, especially offensively, pairing them two guys together. But just defensively, their physicality, their switchability, their rim protection, their perimeter defense, their length, everything would be ridiculous. Offensively, Miami desperately needs a superstar scorer, and they need a true interior presence, someone who gives them easy buckets, someone who collapses the paint, someone who lives at the rim. Giannis does all of that at an MVP level. Previous 4 seasons, he's averaging 30 and 10. So he is someone that makes sense in terms of fit. Giannis and Spoelstra would be crazy to see. But yeah, let's just talk about the part Heat fans don't want to hear. Here's the truth. Miami is always rumored as a destination, but Miami rarely is the actual destination. We get used to seeing the Miami Heat in these conversations because players love the idea of living in Miami, playing in Miami. Agents maybe even love using Miami as leverage. I don't know. Reporters love mentioning Miami because it gets clicks. But obviously, there's Pat Riley, Spo. Like, obviously, it's a good organization. But when it comes time for someone to actually force their way to Miami Heat, it almost never happens. And I guess we don't always have the draft capital or the assets. We're not always prepared for it. And the Heat were finalists with Dame. KD listed Miami and Phoenix as his 2 top destinations. Bradley Beal, again, before he was completely hurt and washed, wanted to come to Miami. Donovan Mitchell was locked in on Miami, best friends with Bam. All these people were friends with Bam also. And how many of those guys ended up here? 0. So maybe Miami gets used for leverage. I don't know. I don't know why, but it's always a place that's mentioned, but it rarely happens where we do end up getting the superstar. But the Giannis noise is getting louder this past week, and if Giannis did want to go to Miami, a few things make it difficult. One, the Bucks would want a monster package. So again, of course, they would want Herro, the Jaquez's, the Kel'els, the KJs, whoever, the salary fillers, all of our draft picks. But teams, like the Milwaukee, or the OKC Thunder, the San Antonio Spurs, the Houston Rockets, can outbid the Miami Heat with better younger prospects, way more draft capital, and also really good veterans. Like, we can't compete with those guys if they truly wanted to upend their teams and add Giannis. So Miami isn't loaded with the picks, especially with the whole Terry Rozier debacle. We only have 2 picks that we can really offer. Giannis would have to basically say Miami and Miami only, and force his hand and say, I'm not going anywhere except for Miami, basically. And that could help. But again, these are still just rumors right now. Like, there is probably some truth to Giannis wanting to come to Miami, but we know this pattern. We are always in the chase. We rarely win the chase. So should we hope that we get Giannis? Like, I'm hoping we do, but I don't expect that we're going to get him. I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, you never know. Maybe this could be the time we finally get that superstar. And honestly, if we got Giannis, I would be freaking ecstatic. This would be amazing. And we would be true contenders, I believe, no matter who we trade. Whether we trade Bam or Tyler, doesn't matter who the centerpiece of that package is. I don't give a crap. Trade either of them. I would be happy if we kept Tyler and Norm and had Giannis as our, big 3. I would be happy if we kept Bam and Giannis and Norm as our big 3, or whatever combination. I don't care. Just get Giannis onto this team. Is it going to happen? I don't think so. Let me know what you guys think. Are the Giannis rumors real? Do you think he'll actually request a trade before the deadline? Do you think he'll actually come to Miami? Do you think we have enough to get Giannis? Drop your comments and your thoughts. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate the support.